Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is, let's talk about triangle midsegment theorem. So midsegment means that I take a midpoint, which means something that is exactly in the middle of one of my legs of my triangle. So that means this side and this side are both the same length, okay? And I connect it to the midpoint on the other side, which means this piece and this piece are the same length. And then that line that's connecting my midpoint to my midpoint is parallel to the base of my triangle. So let's see how that works, okay? So first of all, these tick marks, they kind of printed really light. Let's go ahead and fill them in. Alright, so here we go. We went from midpoint to midpoint, and then base, and it's parallel to my base. And then when you have a midsegment, then that midsegment times 2 is equal to the base. So 2 times the midsegment is equal to the base. 2 times x, which is the length of my midsegment, is equal to 10, which is the length of my base. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides. I get x is equal to 5. Let's practice that with this problem right here. So here's my midsegment, CD. So 2 times x plus 17 is equal to my base, which is x plus 26. I'm going to go ahead and distribute that too. I get 2x plus 34 is equal to x plus 26. I want to have my x's on one side and my numbers on the other, and I'm going to move my x's to the side that has the bigger number in front of the x's. So I'm going to go ahead and move this x over to this side. That cancels that. Now, since I said this is going to be the side for my x's, then any numbers that don't have x's need to move to the other side. So that means I have to move this 34 over to this other side. That cancels out. Alright, 26 minus 34, that is negative 8. So we have negative 8, and that canceled. And then 2x minus x, that's just a regular x. So x is equal to negative 8. Okay, now, am I done? No, I'm not done, because up here it says find EG. Well, where's EG? I go from E to G. Oh, that's this thing right there. So I'm going to go ahead and write EG is equal to x plus 26. Well, that is equal to, my x is negative 8, so I'm going to put that negative 8 where the x was. Negative 8 plus 26. So that means that my EG is equal to 18. Alright, so that's how midsegment works. Alright, moving on. Next, we've got triangle proportionality theorem. Proportionality is a type of similarity, and I'm going to talk about similarity next, okay? But proportionality means that whatever you're multiplying one piece of the triangle by, the other piece that matches that is going to be multiplied by the same thing. So, for example, 3 times 3 is 9, so 6 times 3 is 18. We know it should be 18. But how do we, it's not always going to be conveniently set up like that. So instead, we have to have a formula that's always going to work. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and say that if we take one of the yellow parts, actually, if we take a yellow part divided by the other side on the yellow part, and then if we take an orange part divided on the other side by the orange part, those are going to be proportional to each other. So 3 divided by 9 is equal to 6 divided by x. That works. You could have also done like yellow divided by orange equals yellow divided by orange. Either way, it doesn't matter as long as you follow the same pattern both times. Okay? So this divided by that equals that divided by that. Now, once we have that, we are going to cross multiply, which means you're going to go ahead and multiply the bottom by the top, and you're going to multiply the bottom by the top. Cross multiply, some people call it a butterfly because it kind of looks like a butterfly. Okay, so bottom by the top means 3 times x, 3 times x. Bottom by the top means 9 times 6, 9 times 6 right here. So I get 3x is equal to 54. Then I'm going to divide by 3 on both sides to get my x by itself. X is equal to 18. It just said solve for x, so we're done at that one. All right, so let's try that on this one. Okay, let's see. How do we want to do this? I am going to go ahead and do this by saying I'm going to go ahead and take one yellow, divide by the other yellow, and take one of the oranges, divide by the other orange. So x plus 6 divided by 10. It doesn't matter which one you go with first, as long as you follow the same pattern on the other side of the equal sign. So I said I start here first, so then there I'm going to start there first as well. Equals x divided by 2. Okay. Cross multiply. So this bottom gets multiplied by that top. So I get 2 times x plus 6 equals this bottom divided by that top, so equals 10 times x. I'm going to go ahead and distribute that 2. I get 2x plus 12 is equal to 10x. I want to have my x's on one side and my numbers on the other side, and I usually like to keep my x's on the side that has the bigger number in front of my x. So that means I want to move this 2x over to this side. Well, if I'm moving my x's here, then that means my numbers without x's need to be here. All right, cool. All my numbers without x's are there. All right, that cancels out, and then I have 12 is equal to 8x. Divide by 8 on both sides. And I get x is equal to 12 divided by 8. Well, that can simplify to 3 over 2. But either way, our x is going to be a fraction. If I don't want a fraction, I can turn it into decimal form and say that is 1.5 x is equal to 1.5. Either way, 3 over 2, 1.5, same thing. Okay? So we don't always get nice even numbers. All right. So that is triangle proportionality. One thing to remember that I didn't actually point out that much is this only applies if this length right here is parallel to my base. Now you're like, oh, isn't that the same thing as midsegment? Not quite, because I did not have to go midpoint to midpoint. You can go from any point to any other point. Okay, so moving on. All right, for this section, I like to use 3 colors. I recommend you do the same, but you don't have to, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put the first letter one color, and I'm going to go ahead and make that same letter here that color. Second letter, another color. So that letter, that letter. Okay, and third letter, different color, 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 color. Okay, so now if I follow the pattern, if I go blue to orange, so blue to orange, blue to orange, and then I go orange to yellow, so orange to yellow, and orange to yellow. Okay, so I have a pattern set up, and then it's very easy with these colors for me to see what pieces match. Okay, if I don't have the colors, I can just be like RS matches KL. Okay, but with the colors, it's nice to actually visualize it. So KL, blue, matches this other blue, which is RS. Okay, so RS goes with KL. And I'm going to put one on the top, the other on the bottom, no big deal. Next we have ST matches with LM. We can see that with our colors. Orange goes with orange. The important thing to do here is to remember which triangle I mentioned the first time. So I said RS, that's the bottom triangle. Bottom blue divided by top blue. So I have to follow the same pattern, bottom orange divided by top orange. So then I just fill in my numbers. Okay, and then just like we did before, we cross multiply. Bottom times top equals bottom times top. Okay, multiply and then divide by this 50 to get the question mark by itself. So let's try this on this next triangle. Okay, I'm going to color. So U on both triangles is blue. All right, color, T and F are orange. And color, we got yellow and yellow. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and connect my blue to my orange, blue to orange, blue to orange. All right, I'm going to connect my orange to my yellow, and then I'm going to go ahead and connect that yellow to my blue. See how that yellow goes to that blue U? Okay. All right. So now I need to follow the same pattern to say blue divided by blue equals another color divided by another color. There's nothing on orange, so I'm not even going to go through that. I'm going to go ahead and say, let's say the top blue, so 72 divided by the bottom blue, 9, equals the top yellow, which is 6x plus 12, is divided by the bottom yellow, which is 12. Cross multiply. So I get 12 times 72, right, is equal to 9 times 6x plus 12. Okay? And then from there, you're going to go ahead and distribute your 9. And we're going to go ahead and multiply this 12, all right, with the 72. So multiplying that, I get 864 is equal to, let's see, 9 times 6 is 54. X, forgot that X. 12 times 9 is 108. Okay. So now I want my x's on one side and my numbers on the other. Well, there's only x's on this side, so that's the side I'm going to keep for my x's, which means I have to move this number to the other side. Okay. I get 756, when I subtract that, is equal to 54x. That cancels. Okay. Divide by 54 on both sides to get the x by itself. And then we get 14 is equal to x. Okay, did it tell us to solve for anything other than x? Nope. All right. This particular one said solve for the indicated side length. Well, this time there was no indicated side length, so this one had actually missed the instructions. We should have said solve for x on this. Okay. Now, important thing is if you do not have the colors, then you follow your letters, okay? U, T, see how the first two letters UT over UF is equal to, we don't have anything on these oranges, so instead we have to be like, oh, what is this side? Well, that's US. And UT, we mentioned the top triangle first, so let's mention the top triangle here. US divided by UG. See? Right? So if we don't have colors, we can just go based on letters. I like the colors, it helps me to visualize.